Ajay, great speaking with you, man. Congratulations, not on just your new single that we're going to be talking about, but just your entertainment career, man. You have done so much in your young years, and I can say that because I'm an old guy, though. But how are things going with yourself? Because, of course, the world's been dealing with COVID-19 for the last year and a half. Where are you in this world, man, and how you've been handling all these changes in the world?
Yeah. I mean, for well, thank you very much for that introduction. I am Ajay. I'm an actor and a musician. For COVID, I mean, I left school and I didn't really feel like doing online school, just because it wasn't the same. So I really took that time to just focus on music, and I had all these songs in the vault that I had recorded in New York City, but I hadn't released anything yet. And so just the right calls started to happen, and I got set up with some management that I'm really happy with, and we started planning the releases for my music and came out with my first song in January, second song in April, and then my third song just came out, and I've just also announced my debut EP for October.
Fantastic,
So
man. Now, I was
yeah,
asking
and
before, what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Michigan, but I live in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and definitely feel really, really lucky to be in a place um, in Canada where COVID rates have been so low for most of the pandemic. I know that COVID, depending on where you are, has been really, really terrible for a lot of people. And so my heart goes out to those people. And yeah, I feel super fortunate to have been in on an island. Victoria's on an island. So yeah, I was pretty safe there for most of the time.
Well, that's good to hear, my friend, because, like I said, we need people like you to help entertain us through these tough times. And when I talk about entertaining, man, looking at your resume, like, is there anything you haven't had a chance to do yet? Because it seems like you've been doing it all. Talk about some of the projects you've been in. Of course, we all know you from Lost in Space, and
Yeah.
congratulations on that. Because again, I'm old school, so I go by the original series,
Yeah.
watching it as a kid. So looking at what you've done with this is amazing, man. So congrats on that. What else have you been up to? Like
Thank
things,
you.
work that you've done.
Yeah, well, as you said, I was on Lost in Space. The third season, the third and final season, we filmed during the pandemic,
Wow.
and I have a feeling they're about to announce the release date because they keep on social media. The creators of the show keep on making fun of how there's no release date yet, and they just started doing that. So that makes me think, oh, there's about to be a release date. Um, and I was on 5 episodes of season 4 of one of my favorite shows, which is Riverdale, which I
Yeah.
just think is, I mean, to the un, I mean, to someone who's not really paying attention, it might come across as kind of like soap opera trash, but it's not at all. It's actually really genius, I think. And they've created an atmosphere on that show where they can pull off anything. I mean, they literally, and in a way, it's like the storylines are have that predictable uh, soap opera kind of drama, but then they also are incredibly unpredictable. You never know where it's going to go. So I played a character named Eddie on 4 episodes of season 4 of Riverdale, and my scene partner in all my scenes was KJ Appa, who plays Archie, and so that was really great, and he's hilarious and was a pleasure to work with. Yeah, and then I've also been on Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. I've been on The Order. I was also in the film Riot Girls, and so with acting, that's the bulk of my resume, as yeah, as well as a lot of theater.
I was just saying, have you voiced also, haven't you?
Um, yeah, I was in a kids show on YTV and Disney Plus for 2 seasons called um, Reboot the Guardian Code, and it's funny because it's a hybrid between live action and animation. So
Yeah.
we are doing live action stuff, but then our characters go into like this animated video game world, and then we're doing voiceovers. So that was pretty awesome to get experience in both categories like that.
Because I watched the original and I watched the new one too, so it was a real adjustment for me on it to realize Megatron is still around. It's like, come on, So it was crazy. I said Megatron, not Megatron. That's Transformers, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So my
I
apologies
for
on that for folks who are going to
I for
correct me, and I know
I
they're going to be
forget
out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, great series though, man, and congrats on that too. Like I
Thank you.
said, you've done a lot. What is it about entertainment that you love so much? Where did that drive come from?
I think it's just I was born with it, really. I mean, well, I think part of it comes from my parents being so supportive and like my parents, I guess, always paying attention to me, which I was really lucky for. And I guess that made me feel free to cultivate me being an entertainer. But I mean, with music, I've been humming and drumming my hand since I was a baby. Like my parents said they could tell long before I could talk that I was musical. And then my sister started like community theater shows when she was 11 or 12, and I'm a few years younger than her. And when I was 11 or 12, I was like, I should follow in her footsteps. So I started doing theater. I was always like the theater kid in high school who would always be like leaving class to go to rehearsal, or sometimes just saying to my teacher, I have a rehearsal, and they'd always be like, oh yeah, go. But then I'd just leave. Yeah, yeah. So, and but I was always just doing that for fun. I wasn't trying to make it a career, and then it just kind of happened.
Is there a specific love that you have? Whether would it be theater? Would it be television? Would it be film? Would it be music? If there was one
Yeah,
that you could put on top, and I know it's an unfair question, but which one would you
yeah.
say and why?
I would say music because music I think is just like it's completely natural to me. It's kind of just something I naturally do. It's like how some people absentmindedly like doodle on everything.
Hmm.
I never do that, but I absentmindedly sing and come up with melodies and everything all the time. I like to think that even if I didn't want to do it, I would still be doing it. You know? Like when I was 4 to 6 years old, I would always just constantly be essentially freestyling melodies and lyrics everywhere I went. And yeah, I when I was like 6, I was living in Japan for a year with my family, and we had a family over for dinner, and I was in like another room during dinner just singing my heart out, some random stuff. It was never like actual songs. It was just stuff I was making up in my head. And then I heard laughter from the kitchen. Of course, it was like kind, like loving laughter, but that was the first time I was like, oh, like people can hear me when I do that. That was probably my first time I remember feeling like a bit self-conscious.
What kind of stories do you like to tell through your music?
Like, that's a good question. I mean, all sorts, really. I mean, with like my first single, that's like a soft folk love song. And then my second single, Higher, that was called Jasper. And then my second single, Higher Stakes, was like this energetic, like pop with some elements of pop rock, like breakup anthem, like super loud, very different. And then this most recent song, Your Eyes, is about struggling with like self-worth, and then viewing the way our loved ones see us as like inspiration to think better of ourselves. And the chorus and pre-hook are kind of like these celebrations of overcoming self-worth issues and kind of like these self-love exclamations.
So I
So yeah,
want to
all
go.
sorts of stories.
No, no, that's okay. Sorry, I interrupted you. I want to go back a little bit what you were saying before about with COVID. Did this give you a break to be able to do music? In other words, would we be speaking right now about new music, new songs, if it wasn't for COVID?
I mean, it definitely. Who knows what it would be? I think definitely I would still be putting out music,
Hmm.
but I have like 10 songs in the vault, and so who knows? It may. I decided all this stuff with my management, what singles to put out, what songs to release first, everything. I decided that all during COVID. I met my management during COVID, so who knows? It may. I think I would still be putting out music, but we may be having an entirely different conversation about. But actually, this most recent single, Your Eyes, was written and recorded during COVID.
That's what I want
And
to get into. That's what I want to get into.
yeah,
I don't want you
yeah.
to go into too much yet about the song and everything, but how difficult was that to record during COVID? I've spoken to a lot of artists, and their experiences, and knowing that at one point things are open, then it's not open. You're allowed so many people in the studio. No, you can't have anybody in the studio. Are we going to do this through Zoom? Are we going to Skype? Like, how did you go about recording all this?
Yeah. So the difference between Your Eyes and my other singles is my other singles have like a full band of live musicians playing as well as programmed stuff. Um, but Your Eyes is other than the guitars, the electric acoustic guitars and my voice, those are all played by me. It's all computer stuff. So it's really the whole song was created just by myself and my friend Michael Tessier. Um, and so it was just the two of us. And so when we were coming up with the song and I was writing the lyrics and we were discussing sounds and melodies, this was early on in COVID. We would meet in my backyard and we would just kind of hang out there for a few hours and have a few sessions. And then when COVID rates were low, we just kind of would go into my basement and record the demo. And then when we wanted to actually record the song, we rented this studio in town, and just the two of us plus a videographer just hung out there for a few days. And so, yeah, that was pretty great. With this setup for this song, it's pretty easy to do, but I definitely see for a lot of other types of music and a lot of other types of recording it being a lot more challenging.
So let me get this straight then. This isn't just self-written, self-recorded. This is self-produced. This is like self-paid. Like, this is all you, man.
Yeah, yeah. All my music is um, written by me and funded by me and uh, kind of arranged and composed by me, a lot of it. And so, um, yeah, and so Your Eyes was produced by me and my friend Michael Tessier. And then my other two singles were produced in New York City by um, this amazing musician named Everett Bradley. And him and I would work together on the demos together for weeks, and both composing stuff, talking about arrangements and everything. But I definitely have a very hands-on approach. You know, I when I hear something I want different, or when I hear something I want the song, I'll like sing it out, try to describe the sound, everything. So I'm very hands-on with my music in almost every aspect.
Okay, well, you've already given the name, but I'm going to ask you to say it again because I want to make this part official. What is the name of the new single, and what is it about, sir?
The new single is called Your Eyes, and it is about the experience of looking to our loved and trusted ones and looking at how they see us, at the wonderful things they think about us, and then letting that inspire self-love and confidence and pride in ourselves, you know? I think a lot of people are their own worst critic, and it's sometimes very difficult to think of yourself the way your loved and trusted ones do. But I think, these are people you think highly of and who you look up to, and their opinion on you is it's valuable. It's it doesn't come from a shallow place. It comes from a deep place of knowing you. And so you should trust in that.
Where was this song inspired? And it's kind of interesting that you'd be releasing it during, COVID, because we're still going through it, and knowing all the things that have gone on during that time with racism being focused on such a high manner. And it's kind of interesting how this song talks about basically looking at each other through their hearts, not through anger and misunderstanding.
Yeah. I mean, I got super early in my 20s. I got like depressed for the first time in my life. I'm 23 now, by the way. And it was like the first time I ever actually understood the need for self-love. I never understood before why people like always preach self-love, because I had never, I guess, needed it. I loved myself a lot growing up, and I guess I took it for granted. And then I got super down on myself in my early 20s and became my own worst critic. And I was so terrified of being wrong, of being the bad person, of making mistakes, that I got this intense anxiety about everything I did and said and thought. And I would go over all of my actions meticulously in my head and try and basically eliminate any possible ill-intention motive. But as a result, I was assigning all these like BS motives to everything I did to make sure there wasn't like 1% that or 1% this, and then I would like basically punish myself for to never do that again or never think that again. And a lot of it was just anxiety BS. Like I would brush past someone in the street, and then for the next 20 minutes I would be thinking, what if I did that on purpose? And then I would, you know, give someone a compliment in passing in a conversation or something, and then I would be like, oh, was I just trying to manipulate them into liking me more or something? Like I was just out to, some part of my brain was just out to convince me I was the bad guy so that I could correct myself. And I got really down on myself, and I started to think about myself, like, what if I'm not who I think I am? What if I'm this like evil person? Um, and then that's when I was thinking about the how much like my girlfriend loved me and thought thought of me, and like I just thought I was a wonderful person and stuff. And that's what inspired the hook of the when I see your eyes. So the lyric there is like, in bed at night I I lie awake and rip at my heart, but when I see your eyes, there's nothing I can do to stop me from loving myself a little more. So it's kind of, you know, the feeling of like there's nothing I can do when I'm looking at you to stop me from at least, you know, feeling a little better about myself. And so yeah.
Inspiring song, my friend, and something we all could use definitely right now. You kind of mentioned about an EP coming up in October. What's that going to feel like?
Yeah, the EP is called Love, and every song on it is about love in some form. But you know, they're definitely not all happy, and uh, they're they're all different from each other, different types of love, different forms of love, different stages of love. Um, and I'm really excited for that. It's gonna have the three singles plus some new songs, and yeah, I'm really excited to share different genres and everything with the world.
And part of that sharing, will we see you in any shows, whether it be virtual or in person?
Um, Other than Lost in Space, nothing I'm allowed to talk about, but
Okay.
I appreciate the question. And yeah, I'm really excited for Lost in Space season 3. It's definitely my favorite season we filmed, um, and I mean that. And we have an incredible finale and everything, and I'm just so excited for that to come out.
And I still want to go back. Any chance for any live performances with you, my friend, with your music? Come on, give us something.
Um, I mean, this will air after it's happened, but tonight I'm performing for 25 minutes on CBC Radio, which is
Okay.
like NPR but for Canada. Um, and uh, on the 20th of August, I'll be performing on CTV in Saskatoon,
Nice.
um, which is cool. Yeah. I don't know after that, but yeah, I'm hoping after the once the EP is out and stuff, a lot of stuff will get ramping up for that once COVID numbers are going down.
Cross fingers on that, my friend. Look, as we're wrapping this up, what advice can you give folks, young or old, about what you just talked about, doubting yourself? Because we all doubt ourselves at some point in time. Some people might be longer than others. What advice can you give somebody who's going through that right now?
I would say to believe and know the good in yourself, and also accept that there, as a human being and with our brain and everything, there's always the capability for dark thoughts and for, you know, just stuff we don't agree with. There's always that always exists, and the more you try to tell yourself it doesn't exist, the more it's just gonna keep on coming up. It's like if you say, "Don't think of a monkey for 7 seconds," all you're gonna think about is monkey, right? So just knowing that that is a part of every single human, that's a part of it, and just hoping every day that the light and the good is gonna prevail over that, and not beating yourself up too much when it doesn't, I think is really important. um and also just knowing that just like your you are not your body, right? Your body is this like vehicle that you operate. You're not your brain either. Your brain is this computer, that it's this organ, it's this computer that is inputting all these stuff and trying to make sense and do stuff, and it makes mistakes all the time. And so when you're feeling stressed or confused or sad or anything, you're not actually feeling that way. Your brain is feeling that way for some reason, or your body is physically feeling some way for some reason, but behind that you're just this blue peaceful sky. So yeah. I'm not the most qualified to give advice on this, but I hope that helped.
Are you kidding me, man? You got an old soul. You realize that, right? You've been told that,
Thank
haven't
you.
you?
Thank you.
I know
Sometimes
you
so.
have, man. Yeah. Hey, look, this has been a great conversation and great song, great music. You are an inspiration for a lot of people out there, man, to follow their dreams, because you can show that working hard, you can make things happen to whatever level that you want. Congrats, my friend. Thank you for the interview. Hopefully, we're going to get a chance to talk again, but in person the next time. Cannot wait to see what's happened in season 3 of Lost in Space, and looking forward to October for the new EP Love. Thank you again for the interview, my friend.
Thank you so much, Rudy. I really enjoyed this. Really, really, really enjoyed speaking to you. Thank you.